Ebeka double Jama Luis Enrique as a manager. No one match up Jose Mourinho in terms of the Champions League trophies. Jose Ajitu with Porto and then Inter Milan. We say Enrique Sudi catch trouble with Barcelona. Now Joe so and also Ajitu, but we share in terms of pedigree. Babiana yedi Jose etono. Na babi a Pep Guardiola, sorry, Luis Enrique so start here of free by. I've been thinking so nya Inter Milan and I say PSG trophy no so more. Obenya the Champions League too, but it can also be double for Simone Inzaghi because when they can't find about on Man City, and also Lusu we say so no so twice, two different finals and also so Antimi Afa inside. One thing I mean about these two clubs and I say one a club a fena omahu and yemabiye. I'm try. I get a manager or very conceptual. But me share and Nema or field no so with on one casano ideologies without you the club giving him some superstars. He's a manager, but me a builder player out of nowhere. Somebody like Dizadwe, all of these guys, they were hardly a household name before Enrique was signed on. But on common back to say this season. Europe nyina o yi squad back wa enche e be fade off e be spy ama project for start here e ya akwa Inter Milan squad no they have an average age of 29.5 years almost close to 30. What it means ni say Marco Arnautovic enche obeko Mediterranean encho no so be free team no mu de akọ oba fifi on ma Henry Mkhitaryan e be free team no mu de akọ Hakan Çalhanoğlu at some point obeko Francesco Acerbi central defense at the age of 37 omo push average age na man akosoro somebody like Dumfries Damien omo nyina no you see say with time 2-3 seasons omo team akọ every club no. But Inter Milan by culture and by tradition also more star no ese Madrid pa untan hu akra wa fefe bapa wa mo line up mo
na ya ma chance
untan hu just we are so matured no obono osoro pansa na sabe o yakra benya biabo Inter they have always been parading squad omoni afipa you check the squad now even Jose DJ the Champions League the ma no ya will not be brave grown up players Pandev Samueleto Schneider Balotelli and a few guys been on the team no so Inter there culturally they've always been parading squads ya no more age in was but yeah Simone Inzaghi and me anye title yeah football wouldn't have been fair to the man. Wako final against City Pep Guardiola agenda for the first time for City. It is Pep su deserve kakra Man City su deserve and was about bio and wa be share Luis Enrique another Spanish manager and one about be share ha but per story the catch him say Simone Inzaghi would have to go all out and sign with me the Saka trophy against Luis Enrique at dear PSG you know say Inter and left on performance partner there omo ye driti abasa wo hye mate hoping and nagging say opportunity beba no PSG be family because we have length of time to talk about that game but the story na chem adwene the course kakra mama move on na menko Hansi Flick would have to be very careful coupled with Araujo story na we you know o say Deco abeka kire say on the fastest player
center back
yeah central defender ewo Barca chire hono well then yeah I mean anytime I've come to complain and criticize Araujo no me can't speed in it the pace in wasem okay yeah they no me catch you say on the field of the game and you may be on my course but hunu name me de wa dwene mentally and odi hunu entitori bi no hu sa na na ultimate stance na ubisa every place no something like awareness awareness of field no so that but ball torneta you start discussing no nya aware no you say have you seen concentration but we see pace and until every time Vinicius a classical drive be Vinicius da no more the Araujo akwakoto because it can match Vinicius boot for boot in terms of pace but if a pace in American Antonchen yo Deco I trust strategically football no politics can home so one sharp sporting director club no be nyasem and then a Deco be can say we the actual Barcelona for ni we for after Jonathan Ta to buy no e be official
okay
time Barca started the Jonathan Ta
coach na buy na
yeah o madim komo na see Jonathan Ta Flick told him say no I am bringing you on board me a German coach. I feel Yedima Bahasi. The key figures of my squad. Jonathan Tah or Hodi buying son on a buying on to uncle so.
To me.
But I think say buying for no or more a pay deal look at and a bassa for me a match fiscally. And no na akwa yes oh and yenye fast and bra back. Near me come for Araujo. Yo baby and command no. Yenye fast near me come for Araujo. No pressure Araujo so no I don't know my country say he's the fastest central defender and I not the coach to call for you say. Tell me I feel the pressure about Araujo so. Let's pressure na crack from after Benfica. I'm on for check Benfica games you know. Goals at on it. Baby na Araujo jina. They know all yeah. Borussia Dortmund goals no share you know. Check these goals you know. Baby na Araujo jina. They know all yeah. So grass goals na no the good night. So I'm asking. I then a Jonathan Tah move you know. And I deco Araujo you say club captain Numerica you say it is true but I have never complained about Numerica. In any case central defender there. And yeah, 1-on-1, I say, Omar game because now because say 1-on-1 he's good. Yes, it's the core part attribute of a central defender. Say 1-on-1 money in Chamunko. I feel now catch but Okujina box in the positional sense, the awareness and concentration that have been my problem with Araujo. Now make connected to Hansi Flick. At the end, I make us one show you say Pep Guardiola Juma be for Barcelona. You know, he had a team fully built on an attacking gear. Full attacking engine every time or start or bow chromo or bow so. Hansi Flick is building a team in similar to the Pep Guardiola, you know. So we lose born and hotchino. Crab born Pep Guardiola and the team hotchino. So high line structurally who defended all of that. Defense a chrono and Inter Milan at the counter and the ball cotonate ye Hansi Flick Eddie Firmino. Now it might not be down to individual weakness. Say Okubasi you say Martinez you say Araujo you say, but structural weaknesses and the cracks he has to repair them because counter attack. Dibasenya. Yo, okay, Di Maria goal against Puyol. Osai Kai Gary Bale ne Macbatra. Yeah. Now Kai Ramirez go now for Chelsea against Barcelona. Now Kai Fernando Torres go now shit Barcelona. Yes. All these situations a Yibas Frimu in a major situation. This is Di Maria against Puyol. Counter no
training man say
yeah Puyol name we all look Puyol senior man. Why nya de kete. Ronaldo the ball too smooth counter attack. Now this is another situation Shadrack say nya de amaye. We a Torres you know. And today, the team has been built on an attacking engine. But the Queen without the ball structure and my opponent and no. Barca hasn't gotten that code yet. Under Pep Guardiola, under Luis Enrique, and now under Hansi Flick.
So, strength now and only attack and some be your weakness.
Who?
This is what Chessikaya. I see kind of
how is he going to solve the issue? Because and I'm not quantity for one anymore. And I'm then call those goals to Nanabasa goals, and if you rightly fully put it, say, second, the more you suffocate the panel in the area, how many pressure, so also just space. They win the ball, and then so Osha in Tamalana, Bassa goes, but at the end, the moment me defender no, any moment ye Bassa didn't free. My move fast. Chelsea in the Betis game, no, I dare me see how I say. Conference League na ba abeboa clubs be. Be left you more. Clubs be on more. Yeah, we are saying no major trophy. Because of the competitive nature, football, I say no. Look, Champions League. Oh, say this season in command ye did at some point we said say Nico say Liverpool free mo. Per born no more day my no. Nico say Liverpool more at that time no. People even say Liverpool Barcelona were the best teams. Okay, yeah, group phases no.
Yeah. Because say Liverpool and lose game. No more 100% record in the group phase.
Yes. But look at how they existed. So, you beat to Roma, you beat to West Ham, you beat to Betis, Champions League part proper there. And someone sounds to be Muda. West Ham, AS Roma. All those clubs are my bobo. Because what? Bow, club. Why you only Europa no? So, one, Conference League now bought those clubs. And for that matter, coaches are so young, somebody like Maresca. Boss so yeah juma na cha who trophy the crown of the inside there assume one ejima
Moyes
you mean shout yaw look at Moyes. You think Moyes would have won the Champions League at some point in his career? David Moyes. I mean, spent 11 years at Everton, Manchester, Edmund Grace, and a better shape, big club. Into trophy there, especially the elites of the elites, you know. Moyes naka on kahon, but Conference League, you know, a man who say, oh, as a manager with my longevity and my success, developing players, manya trophy bako at the account. Now, apart from that, there are certain squads. I know we are young. They need success to lift their strength. Bako your Chelsea squad we. Squad no one winners. Who are the achievers?
Say Kopama with City.
I mean, who are no? He's just a peripheral figure.
So Rich James
with the Chelsea.
Korea, Spain.
Kuyera with Spain.
Euros,
you know.
Yeah.
You mentioned them and then you leave the rest blank.
Enzo Fernandez.
Oh, the World
Argentina.
Cup. Argentina.
World Cup then Copa America.
So, Miensa and Naya Bueno, they are pulling the other guys along the journey by winning the Conference League. So say Sancho waba, Kopama na obundi waba, Noni Madueke, Onoswaba, Neto. They won in the colors of Chelsea. It's giving them enough strength. The next target on your conference beam. Next target the EPL, the Europa League or the Champions League. And it would also propagate their growth as a club, as a young squad, under a very young manager. Mani aje Enzo Maresca, mani aje their squad no, but me ya pa de ma Pellegrini ne Betis squad no. Me ya. I know the miyama kumo mu de na me kan. Enka production no. Me ya pa. And if I'm catching on internet, you know, say, hey bra, improve akumo. I'm so bad the day.
The guy was on my hold in
no, you should.
No, but squad we was a mic. Oh, fi that na make say coach na me about do baby a dream.
Yeah.
Because obia ya best start season obia ma Chelsea that chance.
That's true.
Yet almost started so more bona results in AC kono. But one met here.
Yeah.
Whoa, Masa Bray.
Kuntum Panda. Away from Chelsea. Shadia, me who say Manchester City a room into the market per Ryan Sheki. Omo per Ryan Sheki. Na Ryan Sheki sika semne ne ho no we say Manchester City it fits so well say ombetimi akwakofa. Already City are speaking to Tijani Renders. You close to say Manchester City betimi for Tijani Renders. But fancy the issue here say Guardiola, is this the biggest rebuild that obey of Manchester City ana? Because I think after 2017-2018, this is the biggest rebuild I see Pep Guardiola doing away Manchester City. But I think he's also touching certain positions. New more did you be saying I say or yeah you need beams I want to because me check Manchester City at you one now. Edison likely so be free Manchester City. City will need a replacement. After Benjamin Mendy, City replacing Benjamin Mendy with any left back. Josko Vardiol or a centre back, left-footed centre back. I know Timibo as a left back. And a City here I know I used to most of the time. Nathan Ake, a left centre back. Now City I used to know a left back. Then no about share Ruben Diaz the aging and the performances. After Laporte, I'm more for players be the Omaba, Kusanov Ubai, Kusanov in share a lot of games. And from Manchester City, yes, the future is there. Age no one side, Obetima be red team anytime. But you are playing in an unforgiving league. And City didn't want to a certain standard be as see no Obi and Wunu City as underdogs. See now the tag be bowa, expectations become different. And I say, wow, don't want to talk that bomb baby so fancy. It told be a first, you know, we are now to be in your beam. Be a first, who to me quatna. I will want diabetes too. No, I Kurumaka Krebusumeko, be an amount of be the atoso. But they say, no, Umwa be to a certain extent, say, Nippon Mwama, won't me quad diabetes, oh, bet you crana Josuma. Now, Suma diabetena bro, fear no abetiti. So, where City are? They need to build from the back to the front. Already, Kyle Walker is moving out of the system. Fancy, you share what City went throughout the season. Nian discussing who said the kind of signing City are picking. I idea bet me push your because when you're about how I feel about Guardiola or how I feel about City's dominance, but it's about the reality of the situation City finds themselves in. City lose league by November. So Shadow bet mama a graph no depicting when City lost the league any more chances of winning the league now. Oba will say by November na City lose league no or lose league in the cry. Fast forward. O check Manchester City in terms of players are Pep Guardiola signing. Now her graph ni dia. You understand said the last time Guardiola tore a lot of players fancy was back in 2017 and 2018 season. And only can signing 9 players for an average or score spending here 278 million pounds. The next one year 2024-2025, 8 players already 209 million pounds. The team makers the City might be doing one of their biggest rebuilds in the year because 17-18 no was a City shisha. That was the time Guardiola befa team ni and then Brese was a league in your man team Jemeboa. But why is it that 2024-2025 comes second? Because this is also another moment where City will need to rebuild.
We bet me a chain 17-18.
A bit me a chain 17-18 the end. And as you see as player value cost. And this is 17-18 no. So 17-18 na City top player 10 million pounds and they go 15 million pounds. Okay. Fancy. City used to 30 solid players this season. Different. This is so unlike of Manchester City and Guardiola. It didn't come up also a small squad, or small squad. But fancy, what are their problems? Not mean fancy. Shadrack said, okay, very good. Had a number of players are using this season. 30 solid players as compared to 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. About how many players now know you shoot? Here how we shooting here from 23, 24 at the core 30. Different players. You bet me a blame on 2 things. 1, an aging squad. 2, out of form players. Any players you are signing I be an your man Jagulation say no in TB. Phil Foden we pra no akwaba form nini ho. But the biggest problems of Manchester City na me fancy and na pese me di wie. Se Shadrack bet me there 2 screen so amaya. The problems of Manchester City and where they rank this season. Actually say Omoto Randes, Omoto Ransheki, Omoto whoever they want to buy in the midfield no. Omo center back ni omo full back row because ana Kyle Walker. Fancy. Na bibia City echi a. No quiet day cover. Goals conceded 4th in the league. 44. Expected goals conceded 7th in the league, 48.48. Share backward passes in the Premier League.
Central defense, what they say no, they Victor Hayes, ne Kusanov Bayern.
And no mummy rene Bayern en fa. Se fa de ti no momo.
Season a City struggle.
What you say? En fa so akada no momo. Then there is goals conceded, never duels lost. City are losing on all 4 fronts from the first phase of their build-up to the last phase. And even more defend here, the number of passes they allow opponents to play before answer no press no. And we're down. Guardiola Jumane son.
Rodra Bantibia.
Guardiola Jumane son.
Okay, I'm on.
Jumane son.
Wo, Mate, Mesa, Mike.